Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center tracking a severe storm here around St. Augustine. You can see the heavy rain here on the Doppler radar right now. We also have quite a bit of lightning in the area. Just got to be kind of mindful of that. It's sun up on some of our other sources here. They go between some things. I'll say that broad perspective again here that we were just showing you a moment ago here as we're monitoring the situation this warning in Plato 5:15 here for parts of St. Johns County. Severe thunderstorm located over St. Augustine, moving east at about 15 miles an hour. St. Augustine Beach, St. Augustine Shores, Butler Beach, Villano Beach, St. Augustine South, and Anastasia under this warning. And also there's been some weak rotation detected within the Doppler radar here. Not too much overall, but there has been a little bit. And a spotter was also reporting some weak rotations. So I know just coupled with the population, people out, just like yesterday we had a severe thunderstorm warning in St. Augustine, and we went on for it today, another one. And this one actually does have a little bit of a rotational component to it. Current rotation tracker not showing extreme rotation, but it is showing a little bit of rotation here around St. Augustine. As I go back here over the last little bit, you can see that here within the Doppler radar technology. So definitely something to watch. It's kind of just hanging around there here. So you just never know. We could get some type of really quick spin up there, maybe some type of land spout or something like that. And with it being over a populated area, we just want to make sure everybody's aware. It's a thunderstorm warning right now, but we have at least a little bit of weak rotation in here. In this area, you see the greens and reds in that very broad sense here. Back it up a little bit. You kind of saw how things at times will come together and then fade away. So, I mean, this is 439 here. You see it. And then we get to 444, and then you kind of see it broaden, but then it pops back up again at 449, 450, and now it's broadening on the last scan, but it could re-strengthen again as it gets closer toward the coast here. So just a thunderstorm warning, technically. I mean, I say it's just a thunderstorm warning. That's still something that can be very dangerous, obviously, but it's not a tornado warning situation right now. But honestly, there is some rotation evident within the radar, and a spotter actually reported, according to the Weather Service, some weak rotation here. So I just want to make sure nothing happens on us here in a brief sense here that gets down to the surface that kind of increases that damage and wind potential, whether it's a land spout or something of that sort. So again, going to continue to watch this. Let me go ahead and go to correlation coefficient. You don't see anything here. Back it up a little bit. I mean, it's kind of hard to discern 100% there, but I'm really not seeing anything that pops out at me, so that's some good news. But we just have to continue to be mindful here, continue to watch this situation. I know getting up another Doppler radar here for us. Just trying to give you guys the latest information here this afternoon. I'm going to get down to street level mapping now on our other source. So let me go ahead and show you this. You can see here we have really broad. It's really weak on this mode. Right there as we get toward, it looks like Keens Ferry Way in St. Johns County. So again, it's a thunderstorm warning in play right now. It's more by that wind potential here, but again, there has been a little bit of that weak rotation, maybe indicative of some type of land spout maybe here. Small hail also possible up to about penny size. So you got to keep that in mind here this afternoon as we look towards St. Johns County. Just watching the Doppler radar scans here, trying to see what's going on. I mean, we're just trying to make sure you guys know exactly what the radar is showing here so we can relay that to you. We want to just kind of make sure you guys get a sense of things. Right now it looks very broad in nature, and honestly maybe seeing more of that up toward the north here. If we have some closer toward Osceola Street or Abbott Street, as I kind of go between a couple of our different systems here. So kind of have to kind of watch things and just monitor them. But right now, I don't think that chance of tornado formation is that high. Maybe a moment ago we could have had a quick, weaker spin up. It's possible. But right now, this is just a severe thunderstorm situation here. Your typical afternoon type storm, it looks like here towards St. Johns County. Again, there's also other storms around it. You always see this time of year in this environment that'll pop up a significant weather advisory for parts of Camden County until 5:15. We're talking about areas there near Interstate 95 around Kingsland there, getting into some of this. So just kind of monitoring all of that. I know, I was thinking about pulling up a camera down here, but this is a situation where if we had something, it'd be kind of hard to see from Interstate 95 with the rainfall around. So they're giving us an update and telling us about that torrential rainfall now. They go to our 1 hour rainfall estimates. They're saying 3 to 4 inch rainfall rates per hour now across downtown St. Augustine and Davis Shores, and those are areas that are vulnerable to flooding. So could have some type of flood advisory or flood warning get issued here. We'll just wait and see, but we'll continue to watch this situation down there in toward St. Johns County. People trying to enjoy that Saturday here, and unfortunately having a storm here interrupt that. I know toward Jacksonville, those bicentennial celebrations going on there. Right now in downtown, things are looking pretty good, but there's some other accident around in the region, of course, that we're talking about and monitoring here. So let me go to some other modes here. I'm checking some things behind the scenes. I may go ahead and pull up a camera here in just a moment just to kind of see if there's anything interesting on a Florida 511 perspective here. Let me go ahead and zoom back down for now. I don't want to confuse you guys. See where that warning is right now. That's down towards St. Johns County, so get really tight in there on street level mapping. So just kind of monitoring things here. I'm going to go ahead and see some of the traffic cameras in there, just see if there's anything that's kind of noteworthy. I guess you never know, but we're going to kind of look here behind the scenes. I'll go ahead and pull this one up. I mean, not really seeing a lot. I mean, there may be a little something in here, but let's just go ahead and pop it up together on the screen here and make it full. And you can see what's happening right now here at 5 o'clock. I mean, the roads are wet there, though, I-95. But again, some of this kind of pushing further off toward downtown St. Augustine and the Davis Shores area. So this is a 511 perspective right now, Florida 511 perspective here as we get towards St. Johns County. Again, nothing too noteworthy. I mean, this right here may just be some scud, or it's really not that impressive. But we'll continue to watch here, monitor the cameras, obviously. Again, this is kind of away a little bit from where the worst of the accident is. We don't really have anything into or downtown St. Augustine to show you here from that Florida 511 perspective. So, again, I'm just trying to make sure you guys know what's happening here. You see a little bit of a hail indicator going up there, maybe some small hail near Volano Beach right now. There in toward St. Johns County. Just trying to see what's happening. Maybe some small hail near Oak Street or 10th Street there. These are areas I know. I went out there after Hurricane Matthew there in 2016, and there was a lot of issues there that were noteworthy along the coast. That's something to kind of keep in mind. I mean, obviously, this isn't going to probably do too much in terms of anything, but it's just kind of noteworthy that it's in terms of weather. They've had some issues over the last several years with that erosion there and with the storm surge that's come into play there from various storms. I mean, we talk about Irma as well to some extent having an impact as well out there, but Matthew definitely worse there at the beaches there. So, again, continuing to watch. It was definitely the worst storm there in comparison. But we're going to go ahead and continue here. It's 5:02 now. Rotation-wise, I'm not seeing a lot here within the Doppler radar. You just get an update, though, from the Weather Service. So let me go ahead go to one of our other computers we have up, our analyst computer. I know I started out with this earlier on. And they're saying here with the latest update, at 5:02, a severe thunderstorm is located over Volano Beach or near St. Augustine. So, yeah, it looks like the worst of this has now kind of shifted there, moving east at 10 miles an hour, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and penny-sized hail possible there, according to the office in Jacksonville. So, we're watching things. The wind velocity signatures don't look very impressive here at this point. Now, again, we may have some small hail mixing in there around Volano Beach, maybe some of that just pushing offshore here. So that'd be some good news over the next little bit for folks in terms of that wind and hail potential. Granted, there still is a potential here as I go back for some of that heavy rainfall to cause some issues here looking back at the last hour, you see some of these purple areas getting about 1.5 inches or so, and that's going to be kind of pushing more those higher numbers into towards St. Augustine, downtown, and the Davis Swords area. Rainfall rate to 3 to 4 inches, though, doesn't necessarily mean you'll get 3 to 4 inches. It's just kind of giving you guys an hourly breakdown of things. So that's the only warning we have right now locally. If I do want to give you an update on some national storylines. Specifically, there is now a tornado watch here in play as we get further on off toward the north and west. We'll take you on a tour. You see warmer temperatures South Georgia, and that's going to be a big story as we look ahead, especially next week with those higher heat index values. But we'll go ahead and go on a tour here, and you see a tornado threat. I know they had some tornadic accident on Kansas City earlier in the week, and now a tornado watch in play, and I'll take the risk away, and the measures go discussing, but you see a tornado watch here in that yellow, that big yellow shaded area that goes until about 10 p.m. Central Time for southwest Iowa, northeast Kansas, northwest Missouri, and southeast Nebraska here. You can see some of the different polygons, the thunderstorm warnings popping up. One there for parts of Dodge County, Nebraska. Another one here as we get further down, Lancaster, Seward, and Saline counties. Already ping-pong both sides. Hail possible. Lancaster, Saline, and Gage counties there. Watching things carefully in that vicinity. And then as we get toward Johnson, Jefferson, Saline, and Gage, some of these overlap. That's another warning that's on the board here. As you get new updates in, you see a new one popping up there for parts of Washington, Dodge, Douglas, and Saunders counties there as well. And this severe thunderstorm is located 5 miles north of Cedar Bluffs there. So we're watching when I move toward Omaha maybe later. I know not right now, but next week the College World Series in baseball will be there. So that'll be something where the weather will have to be monitored even more closely. That starts next Friday. I know all the super regionals ongoing here today, but let's go back to the local area. You can see here as we get back down, you see the one yellow box in our area. That's a severe thunderstorm warning for another 9 minutes for parts of St. Johns County there. You can see we're getting some of the heavier rainfall there around St. Augustine, Villano Beach, and Anastasia. So we just have to kind of continue to watch things, and you're trying to enjoy that day off maybe at the beach, and unfortunately that 60% chance of rain coming to fruition there and causing some issues. I mean, obviously other areas have fared okay. I mean, it kind of depends on where you are in the area. I mean, where I'm at here towards Stark, we've had a little bit of rain, but it hadn't been a washout. Wasn't a washout yesterday either, but it just depends on exactly your specific location. Because things are definitely prone here this time of year, especially to local variability. As we're looking again east of Interstate 95 here in St. Johns County. We did just get an update from the Weather Service there. That is now a new significant weather advisory in play further up to the north. They're now saying 40 to 50 mile an hour winds possible in this new polygon that goes up toward Woodbine, and that goes there until about 5:30. We're talking about a storm near Kingsland moving northeast at about 5 miles an hour. As we go to some of our velocity modes here, nothing really impressive, but there is a little bit of wind signature in here, so something to kind of note as we're looking at things here on our different modes. You see a little storm there going up into the St. Johns River on the last few scans. That could be something to watch later here. As we get closer in toward the center of Jacksonville there, toward downtown Jacksonville. So we'll watch that, of course. Just kind of these movements can be erratic from time to time. This time of year, summertime, I know technically summer, you could kind of debate on exactly when you want to call it summer based on a couple different things. But, I mean, we're in that time of year where we have some of your warmest temperatures in play. So here in the local area. So we're continuing to watch, continuing to monitor things, checking here some of our different lighting trackers, just trying to see exactly what we're kind of dealing with here towards St. Johns County. You can see those purple indicators. I mean, that's showing 23 lightning strikes in that general area in the past 30 minutes or so, 16 in the past 30 as we get down just to the south. So as we get closer north St. Augustine. So decent amount of lightning here. I mean, all these indicate different areas here of that. So have to deal with that, obviously. And remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. In these type of situations, that applies to all storms here. But this time of year, things can pop up quickly with little warning. I mean, of course, though, in this pattern, things just happen like this, so you kind of have to already be on guard when you have really any rain chance in play, which is pretty much every day this time of year. And of course, you also have to watch out while we're on the topic of the beaches, rip currents. That danger here can get pretty high this time of year as well, so make sure you're exercising caution out there. But of course, when there's warnings in play, I will be posting about them, going on for them, depending on a certain type of situation. When we post about them there, you have Facebook, KC Cloud WX, and Cloud's Weather. And then we can go on those platforms like what we're doing right now, Twitter at Cloud Casey, and then auto alerts come across at Cloud_WX there. You have YouTube where you can get live coverage there. Watch that on that platform, on the YouTube app, or even on your Roku device. Just search for meteorologist Casey Cloud, and then you have Twitch there, meteorologist Casey Cloud, and then the website cloudweather.com kind of puts things together for you, including all the links there that you need, and you can also get interactive radar there under the radar tab. You can look at some of the severe weather outlooks for the southeast under the severe tab. Look at some of the storm reports there when they come out as well for today. Getting some of that information there from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman. But as we continue to watch everything for you here in the Weather Center. So we're at 5:10 right now, just checking some of our different things here in the Weather Center. We're checking with the Weather Service to see if there's anything new we need to tell you about. And right now it doesn't look like it. But we're continuing to watch here St. Augustine with this warning in play. Volcano Beach here where some of the worst of this has been with this warning in play. As we look at the ZDR product, you're not seeing a lot of upscale growth now, but as we kind of back things up, you could see some of that here on the board over the last little bit when things were really trying to get going there in toward St. Johns County. But you can see how we had some of those higher values showing on up there with that product. But in terms of the overall risk here today, just a general thunderstorm risk here for North Florida and South Georgia. So let me go ahead and see that now. That's the storyline here. I do have a flood advisory further down and toward parts of western Florida there, southwestern Florida, Charlotte, DeSoto, Sarasota counties. There's a flood advisory there. Look at some of the rainfall. You can see how it's added on up there as we get west of Punta Gorda, for instance, 2 inches in the last hour. And some of those spots. So kind of interesting. You see some of that even in our area as we get toward parts of Camden County, over 2 inches northwest of St. Mary's. So that's something to kind of keep in mind here. And as we go ahead and go back on out now in the view, you see a pretty good area here where we don't have any thunderstorm risk in play. But as we get out toward Kansas City, there is that enhanced risk of severe weather in play for later on. You see Kansas City there, St. Joseph, Missouri, Maryville, Missouri as well under this, even edging into toward parts of Iowa there. I just kind of have to continue to watch here. You see a funnel cloud was reported with that storm there that's approaching Omaha here. As we look ahead later on, at least, that's moving southeast at 35 miles an hour. So just kind of looking at things here. Probably in Omaha in about an hour or so. So around 5 o'clock Central Time, or a little thereafter. So that's something to be dealing with there in that market in eastern Nebraska. You see all these warnings here south of Lincoln there, south of the University of Nebraska. So some threats there. I mean, it's not an overwhelming tornado threat, but it is enough for a tornado watch to be issued there with that yellow outlined area and now the yellow shaded area. I'll say that here on the board. So just want to touch on that if you have some national interest there. But back to the local view we go. That's warning going for another 2 minutes for parts of St. Johns County here. You see the lightning on the board. Not as frequent as it was here over land. Marine interest obviously having some big issues off the coast here if they're trying to be out and about here in a small craft, something like that. I mean, obviously with the lightning around and the heavy rain around, it'd be dangerous. But looking here over the last hour or so, just kind of monitoring some of these different numbers, and you just saw the yellow box go away. They have just let us know that they're expiring that severe thunderstorm warning for St. Johns County, so that's good news. But before I let you go here, I do want to check some power outage numbers here behind the scenes, and then I might pop them up on the screen if they're noteworthy enough to see if anything may have occurred there in that area. That's kind of worth mentioning here as I kind of just check on some different numbers. There are outages in the state, but you just never know exactly where they'll be until you pop up the map. I know rain chances around tomorrow again. Monday dropping off some, Tuesday a little more, Wednesday there you'll kind of see some lower chances maybe, but the heat really is going to be starting to build in next week, and that means when you have those warmer temperatures around here, of course, they still have some storms that can get pretty nasty there as you're looking across the area. So do have a few outages in St. John's, but nothing to write home about. But we'll go ahead and pop it up. There are actually a few outages in Flagler County here. You see 760 customers in the dark there right now. Just 6 though in St. Johns County, so that's good. Over 1,000 in Duval. Kind of interesting to see that here, but you just never know what type of storms that could knock things out. I mean, it just takes a tree limb, something like that, a tree falling on a line. So it's not necessarily going to always be exactly equal to what the storm looks like on radar, and the winds it's producing. It's about those local scenarios where you have a tree limb fall or a tree fall, something like that. And as we get toward Nassau County, Baker County, Columbia, no outages. Union, Bradford, none. Alachua, just a handful there. So that's good. These numbers staying pretty low overall. Flagler about the most there, really, in terms of percentage. And then we had Duval there, of course, with some outages as well. We'll take Georgia. Camden County, 20 customers. One county, Glenn County, 1 customer in the dark. So I'm just kind of trying to show you exactly what's happening here within everything, within all of our different tools in our toolkit. But I think that'll pretty much do it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in, trusting me. You still see some storms around here, and we'll still have to just always, as we do this time of year, be on guard because things can change here pretty quickly. The erratic storms, you see our infrared satellite imagery there, kind of showing how things are setting up. There's, or excuse me, that was visible, I'm sorry. That was our visible satellite imagery there. And then you'll be able to see our infrared satellite imagery with all these colder cloud tops there on the board, and then our water vapor, your water vapor showing that moisture in comparison to some drier air actually in the upper levels there toward southwestern Georgia, toward the Big Bend. So kind of interesting to compare and contrast. I know I was just kind of looking at some things here in the chat, so just trying to make sure I mention everything I need to here with you. Of course, just want to make sure you know here that's the water vapor. I'm looking ahead here what I'm saying, but I know what I'm doing with the Ghost products here. This is the water vapor. This is your infrared, and then here's your visible. So again, we're going to continue to watch things here. And they're telling us in the chat, it's kind of caught my eye a little bit as we get here. Impressive and dangerous amount of lightning has been noted there with the previously severe storm in St. Augustine. Now, that's not a warning criteria, but they saw 90 ground strikes over the last 5 minutes or so, and that aforementioned storms will be pushing off the coast there in about the next 10 minutes. So that'll be something to kind of be watching that we have to deal with here. Of course, you have some negative strikes, you have positive strikes here in play, and when you have the positive strikes, that'll be something you have to be kind of cognizant of here for some of that electrical danger to reach the surface. So again, continuing to watch here. You see the core temperatures there at the airport, 75 degrees, but reduced visibility down to 3/4 of a mile there. But I mean, just incredible here to see some different things here within our products. Again, let's go. I don't want to just leave it on infrared, but we'll just go back to infrared because those are really cold cloud tops here, indicative of what we've seen and what we've had to deal with here with this accident. I mean, that's almost reminiscent. I mean, obviously, it's not the same thing because these are just going to kind of pop on up on you. But, I mean, you see some of these colder cloud tops here and some tropical systems as well. when we say this. I mean, you'll see this in a lot of storm scenarios, but it's kind of interesting to see this here and to get them that cold there within our technology and our modes that we see on the air. So anyway, that'll do it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in, trusting me. We just wanted to let you know some of that new information with all that lightning still around. So remember, whenever you have that thunder roar, go indoors.